What's going on, guys? John here. Got a new video doing some work on the Mustang today. One of the big things that I wanted to get to was changing the transmission fluid. I have the 5-speed Tremec TR3650. I'm just going to show you kind of how I'm doing that based on everything I've read, looking at stuff from Tremec and the service manual. So one of the things that I learned as I was looking through to do this fluid exchange on the transmission was it was a little more complicated in terms of the information that I was finding. Originally, it was, I think, Mercon 3, if I'm not mistaken, which was discontinued and is now superseded by Mercon V. And I have a 2004 F-150, and it's nice because it actually takes the same transmission fluid. There were reports of people using GM Synchro Mesh, Royal Purple. A lot of people were trying to find the original Mercon, and then a lot of people use the Mercon V. I don't know what to believe. The manuals on the later ones say to use Mercon V. That's what I'm going to use. So it's pretty straightforward. It's a drain plug at the bottom, a fill plug at the top. It's 3.2 quarts for the system. So 3 of these, and then I'm going to have to measure out the correct amount of ounces to hit that 0.2. So I've got the fluid draining. It's disgusting. Now, a lot of things that I've found on this car, this was a well-maintained car in the sense of it doesn't appear to have been beat on. You know, things that needed to be changed were, but in terms of fluid, didn't do anything from what I can see. Probably original fluid, had a slight red tinge to it, but brown. It kind of smells a little bit. It smells like ATF, but it has a slightly different smell. It's well used, let's put it that way. So I'm glad I've got it. If you can look under here, you can see I've got it draining. A little hard to see, I don't know, because of the light, but it's draining under there. And so I pulled both caps off, the fill and the drain. And one thing I would recommend is when you're doing this, it kind of makes a mess. And so I have an like an oil absorption mat under the car with my catch can. But I would suggest, as soon as you start to open the drain plug, I would have already loosened the fill plug, because the fluid's gonna like pulse out unless you go and loosen the fill plug, and then it calms down and has a nice stream to it. But it started to spray everywhere, and thankfully I had already loosened up the fill plug just in case. Alright, so the way that I'm going to fill up the transmission after I've drained it is by using a pump. And so basically this threads right in to your quarts of oil or transmission fluid, whatever you're doing. We're doing transmission obviously here. So I know that it's 3.2 quarts that this car takes. It was a revised service bulletin back in the 99 to 04 New Edge cars that use the same transmission. So you know you're going to use 3 whole quarts. So what I'm going to do after that is, this is labeled on the side in increments of 4 ounces. Well, I looked up online, 0.2 quarts is 6.4 ounces. So you're going to have to eyeball it, but I'm going to come down about 6, a little over 6 ounces from a fresh bottle and put it into one of the ones that I've emptied, in trying to get it as close as I possibly can to 3.2 quarts. So hopefully you can see that I've got my bottle hooked up and going up in to the transmission. That quart's all set. So I have 2 more to go, and then I got to measure out the 0.2. But it's pretty straightforward. You can fill it from the shifter, but I mean, I think if you can get under the car, it's actually not a bad way to do it, but we'll keep moving on. Well, hey guys, fast forward about a week later, and we're back at the crib. Say hi to Bailey. Can you say hi, Bailey? Hi. She went out in the Mustang. Used to struggle driving in the car, but she does really good now. So I have a week in on driving the Mustang with the changed transmission fluid. And I gotta say, this was a really good decision to go ahead and change the fluid. Is it some monumental difference? Is it a completely different car? No. But the fluid was disgusting. It had a slightly, I don't want to say burnt smell, but it didn't smell like fresh ATF does. And it had a kind of a brownish black tinge. You could still tell it was red, but that fluid was completely used up in it, and it was time to change it. So I'm really glad I changed it. I think this is something worthwhile to do. I'm pretty crazy about changing all the fluids. Now, I got the Mustang back in end of August, beginning of September, and I've already gone through the entire car now. The only fluid left in the car is the differential fluid, which I plan on changing here in the next few weeks, and then just going through the cooling system, doing the thermostat and all the hoses that I can get to. And then after that, every single fluid in the entire car is changed. I've already done the brake fluid. I just did the transmission fluid, and you know, I think it's good to stay up on that sort of stuff, and it keeps the car running really well. And I'm happy with the transmission change. It's definitely just smoother. Like I said, it's not monumentally different, but I can definitely notice a difference. And after seeing that fluid, it's a good reminder of that it's important to change that stuff at regular intervals. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.